Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome! Today we're going to be discussing another topic from RPGaDay, the feel-good guided tour through August, where we talk about all kinds of things about gaming, our personal experiences, in an uplifting attempt to make the gamer community more fun and inviting and give everybody something fun to talk about. Today is the 9th day, which means the 9th question, and that is favorite dice. Now, gamers being gamers, there's all different sorts of gamers out there, right? There are some gamers who come to the game after having just remembered it's game night tonight. They reach in their pocket, they pull up the folded and tattered character sheet that they remember to grab off of their desk, empty out their pockets of the dice they scooped up, and well chewed on pencil, and they're ready to go. Alright. For them, it's probably as much about playing with their friends, being around other people, that they come to the game. It's not about the deeper storylines of their characters or, you know, having cool things to bring to the table and enjoy. No, it's about the spending time with people. All the good stuff there. And that is cool. But for many of us, role-playing games have a lot of other things mixed in, including scratching that itch we have to collect. Yes, indeed. We like to have all the cool stuff. We like to have bright, shiny things, as well as old, moldering things from the earliest dawns of gaming. So cool. And, many of us do have personal dice that we have our own very, very strong feelings for. We also have our own set of superstitions, too. I have a friend who is so opposed to anybody else touching his dice. When one of the other players made the faux pas of touching one of his dice, actually this has happened on two separate occasions. One time he grabbed all of his dice up and stuffed them into his mouth and spit them out onto the table. It was our table. I was living with him at the time, so, you know, it wasn't a terrible hygiene foul against somebody else's table, but nobody wanted to touch his dice anymore. It worked. And then after that same player, I believe, forgot about that individual lesson, he touched one of his dice again. This was, you know, maybe over a year later. And this time the response was to grab the dice and stuff them down the front of his pants. When he pulled them out, nobody wanted to touch them again. Again, it did what he wanted it to do. So, we can be very superstitious. We have, many of us, lucky dice. The die that you pull out when you absolutely need to make that saving throw. The die that you need a little extra boost in your combat abilities, so you grab the lucky one. Yeah, in some cases those lucky dice are flawed dice. They have a rounded off edge or something. And honestly, I've found sites where people are, given little tips on how to shave dice and bend probability a bit to give themselves an advantage. For some people that is extremely despicable behavior, but it happened. So that's, what do you do about it, right? But in this particular instance, we also have our own individual favored dice, the ones that always work. For me, I don't have lucky dice. If you've actually seen me at a game table, I rarely have any luck at all. But every once in a while, I can go on a lucky streak that'll make the players cringe. If that happens tonight, it's going to be really, really grisly. But we'll see. In this particular case, though, I was using a singular die, easily recognizable, that might cause one of my players to shudder if they see this video. This particular die came from Black Oak Games. It's a 20-sided die, and the vanity surface, that is the highest value surface, which would be the 20, of course, is a gem. It's got a nice font to it. It's translucent red. I like this die a lot. This one, in the score of one night, rolled 8 20s. 8. Now, I am a DM. I roll a lot of attack rolls, but 8 seemed excessive. Especially since they weren't all combat rolls, so if they had all been combat rolls, I probably could have killed a player character at some point in the way. But yeah, this die was absolutely brutal. I have another die, same manufacturer. This is made again by Black Oak Games. Same manufacturer. That one's translucent green, and that one is also guilty of being very favorably streaky. And to be fair, I think, you know, just in general, the Black Oak dice are nice. They're not all lucky, but they are nice. So you got that going for you. So I do have several 20-sided Black Oak dice that I got because they were in a really nice little advent calendar that my lovely wife got for me. So I have a bunch of these dice, and they're just cool. They're also quite solid. They feel good in the palm. They roll really well. They're perfectly fine dice. However, they're not my favorite overall dice in general, just that those are kind of streaky, and I mix up my dice frequently. I don't have a set that I traditionally use. I had a motif. Back in the day, my motif was black dice, white numbers, or pips. That was it. Very plain, very boring for what's out there, but that was me. That was my style. It was black dice with white numbers or pips. And sometimes they did fine, sometimes they didn't. They're random number generators. They rolled randomly. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. I use them as a player, I use them as a game master. Didn't really matter to me. I was getting random rolls, and come what may, played it out. But now I'm at an age where I consider aesthetics. I consider how much do I actually like the dice. And there is a variety out there to choose from, but I have found my favorites. I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, that my favorite dice come from Australia. They are produced by the company of a man named Hal Zakati. I think they're out of Perth in Australia, I think. I could be wrong. And I love their dice. And I will show you a sampling of them. So these are Zakatis. I can reach into a box and I can tell which ones are Zakatis and which ones are Chessex or any of the other ones. Couple of things. Number one, the font on their dice is bigger for the runs that I've gotten. Very visible, even though my vision isn't what it used to be. These are easy to read. They have nicely rounded edges, they roll really well, and they have a weight to them. These feel really good to roll in the palm of your hand, and they have a nice bright bounce off of the table. If you're using a rolling tray, they perform fine. One thing I love is their four-sided dice. While they are the pyramid-shaped four-sided dice, they don't have the pronounced points that turn them into caltrops. And I have stepped on one of these, and it wasn't as bad as the pokiest ones. So that's kind of nice. I like that as a feature. Also, again, too, look at the size of the numbers on this. Oops. Four-sided dice, what do you do, right? Yeah, they're big. They're easy to read. I got plenty of dice that have way too small numbers on the four-sided dice. Likewise, you know, the eight-sided die, again, nice big numbers, good weight, solid dice. Percentiles, they do come in a variety of different colors too, and I've gotten a couple, so I just grabbed these two. They are nice and functional. Again, nice big font. Very nice. So yeah, I have probably about 6 sets of Zakatis. Mostly gotten from my friends at Benchley-Dale Academy. Shout out to Benchley-Dale. Hashtag Tim Connolly, thank you. And it is a great company that, even though they're across the pond, the other pond, the big Pacific one, they do make great stuff, and it's worth maybe a little bit more than your average set of dice cost, but the quality overall is definitely worth it. Another additional thing I got to shout out for them, they make a set of dice called the Homage dice, as an homage, but dedicated to Holmes, the box set that had the plastic dice for Dungeons and Dragons, and in this case they made every attempt to make soft plastic dice similar to what you would have found in one of those old boxes. So for those people who are of an age that they remember when those dice first started getting included in box sets from TSR, you can open those up and smile and grab the crayon that comes with it and fill in the numbers and roll just like you did back in the day. I do also have one set, and this is not what I call my favorite set because I've never rolled these dice. But they do mean something to me. They mean history. And these particular set will never be rolled as long as I have anything to say about it. This is a set of blue plastic dice. And they are uninked, as was the fashion back in the day, because the sets came with crayon. And the paper that's inside of this little baggie reads as follows. From 1982, final mold tests, which at the time of that this was printed up was 35 years ago, in preparation for D&D's Red Box Mega Printing. Set 1 of 10, signed by Frank Menser. Frank Menser, of course, was the primary writer who consolidated all of the work from Gary and the prior BX sets by Molde and Holmes, and came up with what is now commonly known as the Red Box, which is Dungeons and Dragons. But the last of the sets that they came up with to, again, bring people into the hobby with a beautiful game, and the Red Box was, of course, art illustrated by people like some of the biggest names in art, like Larry Elmore. So, well, at least the greatest names in gaming art. This set has a 4-sided die, an 8-sided die, a 10-sided die, a 12-sided die, and another 10-sided die that you can fill in tens, and you can fill it in to make it so that half of them are filled in, so they can be the tens place, and actually no, it's actually printed up to 20, and the other set is 1 to 0 twice. So that's the 10-sided die they came up with. All platonic solids. So, these are the most valuable set that I have, in that there aren't a whole lot of them. Frank handed out 10 of these over the course of his party back in 2017, which was a lot of fun, and I'm still grateful that he opened up his house to let some, wet behind the ears, know-nothing gamer from Fond du Lac come in and enjoy just as much as all the luminaries who came to his party did. And it's a shame he doesn't do it anymore, but a lot of things have happened. But that is one of my most notable sets of dice. And that is my dice recollections. You're welcome to it. Thank you very much. You're welcome to the recollections. My dice are mine. I am a dice dragon, and I sit on my hoard. I don't have as many as some people do, but they're like kind of like my little children. So, anyhow, if you enjoyed this, please feel free to like and especially comment. I'd love to hear stories about your dice. That would be fantastic. And of course, if you do want to see more of these videos, feel free to subscribe and notify yourself when those videos come, and you will. And if you know somebody else who loves discussing dice and you want to share this with them, feel free. That would be fantastic. I do hope to see you in another video, though, because, well, it gets kind of quiet around here if I don't feel people are tuning in. I do love to hear the stories of other people enjoying my videos, but also I want to hear what you have to say. And if you have ideas of things yourself that you want me to talk about, feel free, and I will just leave in the comments below. Until that next time, my friends, and I hope there is a next time, I hope that you, yes, you, get a chance yourself to roll some dice, play some games, have some fun, and stay safe out there. Until next time, farewell.